Hey, everybody. How are you? You know what it's time for? Time for Ask Us Anything. Well, welcome. We are Mike and Jennifer Wendland, and this is Ask Us Anything. And it's great to see a whole bunch of you there already. And here we are live from, this is our home, and this is our podcast and YouTube studio just north of Detroit. So we're home, and it's been a long time since we've been home.
It has. We've been gone 6 weeks, and it's good to be back.
It is. We have been on the road a long time, and we're going to be here through Christmas. Here comes Bo. Bo wonders who we're talking to. Yeah. Bo, everybody's here. Come here, Bo. You want to say hi to everybody? Yeah. Hey, he says, who's there? Yeah, here's Bo. Bo wants to say hello to everybody. Bo wants to, he always does this when we start this.
Who are we talking to?
Yeah, he does, and that's pretty funny. Well, listen, there were a lot of you here, and I actually jumped on as we were kind of setting up this live shot a few minutes ago. So let's just say hi. Jack was the very first one who was on. Jared came on, and he had a question. Is it a good idea to RV when you're on Social Security disability? I have a disability due to a wreck. And Jared, I would answer that question saying, is it a permanent disability? Or are you on, getting disability pay for a while from your job? If so,
I don't know anything about disability pay.
But, a lot of people look at it and say, well, if he can go RV, then maybe he can do his job. So I don't know. I'd talk to an attorney first about that. If it's a permanent disability and it's not very strenuous, go for it. Talk to your doctor about that.
My mind was, are you allowed to drive a car?
Yeah.
Then you could drive an RV, I would say.
So depending on what kind of disability you have, it's either an attorney or a doctor, and maybe both that you want to talk to. Cattle Dog Cruising just purchased two Rad City bikes and the Hollywood Bike Rack. That's the system we have. Mm-hmm. We'll use in Florida when camping. You'll have a great time with them. Do you need extra batteries for longer rides? Have you taken yours out west, wondering if we should? Yes, take them out west. You'll love the batteries, especially if you're in hilly country. I think carrying extra batteries is a bit excessive. The batteries are about that long.
They're big. They're heavy.
I think they weigh 10, 12 pounds. So that's a lot unless you have a big basket or something with it, they're kind of hard to carry. So you'll go between 20 and 40 miles. So that's not bad, right?
Right.
That works out pretty good. That was our post when we came on a little bit earlier. Kevin Wheat says good evening. He is in Okemos, Michigan. And Phyllis Kerr, our moderator, she's here and wishes everybody hello. Edward Varga, he's a regular checking in with snow and ice from the southernmost tip of Bergen County, New Jersey. You must have been getting that storm that just came through last night. We're in Michigan. We got a lot of rain.
We got rain.
I think they got snow up north, but that was about it. Mark Hopkins is up at Stephen Foster State Park in North Florida near the Swanee River, and he wishes everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hi to you, Mark. Good to see you guys traveling. I think it was a year ago, October, we met Mark. Well, we met Mark several times at RV shows, but we met him last at California, and he was ready to get his RV, and he said he was taking off and he wouldn't be back. And I think he got it in like December, January.
He's had it a long time now.
And he's been on the road ever since.
Yeah, why not?
That's awesome, Mark. I'm so glad to hear that. Cripple Creek, Colorado is where Debris Costa is tonight. And road trip buddy, not the first post, but always cool to be here. Take me with you. He asks us that every week. Well, we're just going to chill for a few weeks here. And thanks, our buddy Chris Colley is in from Illinois. Let's see. Phyllis is reminding you all to put your question so we can see question at the front of your questions. What I'm doing is I'm reading a stream of your comments on the right-hand side of the screen. You see my eyes dotting over there. That's why. And it will help if I see question all the time because there's so many that come on, and it's always exciting to see everybody on like that. Let's see. Here's a question from Phyllis, and This was asked, I think, earlier. Is there a B or B plus that is 4 seasons and has a dry bath, or will I need to customize something? Well, let's talk first about what is a B plus. A B plus is a Class C RV, and it's a made-up term that marketers came up with because it's a little different than the normal boxy Class C with a big overhang on it. Mm-hmm. That how we were explained. It was explained to us. They're a little wider than a B van. So they're more of a Class C. For insurance purposes, they're a Class C, and for title purposes, they're a Class C. Marketers call them a B plus. And is there one that is 4 seasons? There are a couple of them that are out there, but I want to caution you about 4 seasons. Are you going to live in it all the time? If you're going to live in it, 7 days of the week, then it will work. And what normally is 4 seasons now is they move the pipes and the plumbing inside the coach, just under the floors, where if the coach is heated all the time,
like under the sofa.
Yeah, the heat. If it's heated all the time, the pipes aren't going to freeze. But a lot of people then just say, "Well, I'm not using it for a week or so." Well, then it's not going to be 4 seasons because it's not heated, and you would if. You're going to be using a lot of LP gas or whatever you use to heat it with. So I've not seen one that I would be comfortable using without putting winterizing stuff in, the pink stuff. That's the subject of our video this week. The pink stuff, we winterized our Leisha travel vans Unity model this past week, and we did a video on it while we did it. It was kind of fun, but it was kind of sad, wasn't it?
Yeah, I never like it when we winterize.
Why is that?
Because a symbol that we're not going to use it for a while. I mean, I don't mind winter, but...
But we use ours, we drive it at least once every week somewhere.
Yeah, but it's just not the same.
Yeah, we're not...
You don't have the running water to wash dishes and cook with.
Yeah.
It's just not the same.
Yeah, we kind of use it for...
You're not going to take a shower in it.
Yeah, you're not going to take a shower in it. You don't have... You're not washing dishes.
You're flushing the toilet with antifreeze.
You should be happy about not washing dishes.
Right.
Yeah. You can sleep, we excuse me, we do a winter camp out in January and we'll use it then, but you only stay a couple of nights.
Right.
And you flush the toilet with antifreeze. So it is kind of sad.
It is.
But we're only going to keep it that way for another month or so because we're heading back to Florida. We'll be in Florida for the Tampa RV show, but we're actually flying in for that, and then we'll be driving down in probably February, right?
Right. Oh, he's found something to bark.
Probably a raccoon. Raccoons are a little...
Or it could be a cat.
Raccoons are a little weird this time of year because it's freezing but not too cold, and so they're kind of bumping into poles. They're up looking for food.
He'll probably bark for the whole hour.
He does. Eric and Rhonda from Ohio. This person is not an RVer anymore but loves tagging along. Well, we love having you with us. Question from Roland. Is there an update on the Cub blindside system you folks installed? Hello from Vegas. Yes, he's talking about the Sprinter on the Class C or Class B plus van that we have. Does not come with blindside alert system like it does in a straight Sprinter camper van. He's certainly having fun, isn't he?
He certainly is.
And so we found an aftermarket product called Cub, C-U-B, and we did install that. And I'll let Jennifer say how she thinks it works.
It works fine. It lights up when somebody's in your blind spot.
Just like it is.
It's small.
It's a little light.
It's yellow instead of being red.
But it shows up
it
good.
It works.
And then if you would turn on your turn signal like you're going to turn and somebody's approaching your blind spot, it'll beep. So we have it. It's been working. We just had, because we have the 2019 Sprinter, and we had to have a little adjustment made on the connector switch, which they did for us at Cub. So yeah, we've had it.
To appreciate Bo, you have to understand, it'll be absolute quiet. There's nothing, and all of a sudden there's this
eruption.
He is so loud when he barks.
Oh my gosh, he's loud. Now he's barking because while we've been gone, there's been a cat, a CAT, that has been hanging out in our yard and taunting him.
Yes, it sits outside the window and just looks at him.
That's not a good idea for that cat.
No,
Bo is going to get that cat.
I hope not.
Well, it's going to be ugly, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it will be ugly.
Yeah. So anyway, that was it. Hello to Gary in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Bradley Phillips checks in. and Edward points out on a Class B camper van, you're not going to find a dry bath. The only one I think we saw with the dry bath is from Coach House.
Coachman, too. Didn't Coachman have a lot of their tanks under the sofa?
It's not a, we're talking about the bath.
Oh, okay, bath.
A dry bath is on the Coach House, and that is made by a very small company in Florida, in Nokomis, Florida. And they only sell factory direct. They don't have any dealers. You can see them at shows. If you go to the Tampa RV show, they'll be there. But that's the only one I know that has a dry bath in a Class B. Hello from Freedom, New Hampshire. Did you ever get the recall from Leisha Travel Van for the leveling jack bolts? Yeah, I fixed that actually this past week. What happened is some of the bolts for something was close to the leveling jacks, and it was like, it wasn't really it was just take it into the factory and they cut off those bolts. I did mine this week and had the thing winterized, and we haven't had any real major problems with it at all, have we?
No.
I mean, none. I'm trying to think what else
Well, the wind caught the door.
Oh yeah, I told you about that a couple weeks ago in Florida. The wind caught the door and it pulled that little hinge that,
We should
hydraulic.
find out the name of it because
Yeah, I should
we'll
get
probably be talking about it a lot.
Well, anyway, it broke that off, and so they replaced that for me, and that was pretty good. Hi from Connecticut. What's your number one man toy for your RV?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, what do you think it is for me?
Oh, well, all your cameras are your obsession.
Yeah.
You've got cameras facing out and back and down and all over the place.
I think probably
You like the leveling system.
Yeah, that's not a man toy though.
That's something that you really like.
You know what? There's a couple things I'd really still like to get, but there's no room for them. So I would think my Rad Power bikes, our e-bikes, are my number one man toy because it's my poor man's Harley, but it's not. It's like a bike, but it's really fun. So that's probably the number one thing that we have, and then I have my ham radio system that I haven't put in this new one yet, and that would be pretty fun.
You would like a CB radio.
I would like a CB radio just for traffic, but remember a couple of years ago they had national parks on the air where ham operators went to national parks and made contact.
Working it?
Well, we did one New Year's Day up on Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes, and I set up my portable antenna and used it. That was really fun to me. I would like to do that again. So that's a great question, Gareth. I got a couple of things that I'm still hoping to get, and
I can't believe you haven't gotten them.
well, I might have them on order. But
Oh, they're on order. Okay.
we'll see. How you doing?
Usually don't deny yourself.
Well, that's why we RV, so we can have fun, right? No, I don't have anything big coming, but how are you doing with the snow?
None.
No snow here. We did see some slush today, a couple pieces of sleet, but we haven't had any snow since we got back to Michigan last week.
We missed the big snow when we were south.
Yep. Hi from Head West on 90. Yep. We have a video up. I don't know if y'all saw our video on things to do on US 90 going west or going east, either way, coming back on it. If you get a chance to look that up, it's on our video line. That was a really fun video we did. Remember that?
Yes.
You dressed up as a dance hall girl, and I got to be the marshal.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Didn't have the right hat though.
I thought you looked pretty good.
Accessories weren't quite right.
Didn't you have a big flower
Yeah,
in
it
your
wasn't
hat?
the right hat.
Wasn't the right hat? Well, it was fun. We had lots of places that we stopped. A lot of people think that, South Dakota is so boring, and actually, it is not. It is a really fun state.
It is.
Check out that video. We're thinking about making that one of our, way down in the future, one of our adventure guide books. Hey, speaking of our adventure guide books, if you're on their mailing list, you already know this. If you get our newsletter, but we wrap up the best sale we've ever had, 40% off all of our ebook guides, our boondocking guide, our 5 or 6 different adventure guide books, great packages. But it ends at midnight. It was our Black Friday special, 40% off. If you haven't checked that out, go up there and look it up. It's rvlifestyle.com/40, rvlifestyle.com/40. But that sale ends, I just want to point that out, at midnight, and then they go back to regular prices for the rest of the year. So, and Chris has even got a note about that. He noticed that it's done. And that's the code. But if you go to that link up here, that code will automatically be entered in for you. And you can find out more about it on all of those links. But check out rvlifestyle.com/40. Pause and Effect. What a great name. He's got his dog, right? Hello, all. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving celebration. You cooked Thanksgiving dinner.
I didn't. It turned out excellent. I didn't know how good it would be because it's been a while, a few years since I've cooked. Usually I try to get out of it, but it turned out great.
You haven't lost your touch
just
at all.
the way my mother used to make it.
Well, we had our daughter and son-in-law and 2 granddaughters over,
and our daughter and son-in-law, grandkids brought their dog the first time.
Mickey,
the first time Mickey has ever been in our house, and I said, "Now we're going to make it calm. We want him to come in and be calm." And so they brought him in, and Mickey's calm. And then Bo proceeded to teach Mickey how you run in circles. You play chase around the sofa. Because that is Bo's favorite game, to run in circles. And he will keep doing that as long as another dog will chase him. So I thought, oh, dear.
Yeah.
Because they can go pretty fast when 2 dogs get tearing.
They can, and they
so much for being calm.
Wear a hole around the sofa. I mean, they were going full speed around there. Bo taught him how to do that.
Bo taught him.
Hey, Renee Harwani's on, and they moved to Clarkston, Michigan. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, Renee, to you and Mike. Oliver in Shelby, North Carolina. Salem says good evening, and good evening to you, my friend. Dublin, Georgia. We have been to Dublin, Georgia, Fred, for, was it a football game or a soccer game? That was a soccer game.
No.
That was a soccer game with Nick.
I have come to love the state of Georgia. Our
I
son
do too.
and his family moved there 15 years ago, and we have been to a lot of different cities, and the people of Georgia are so nice.
They are.
Nothing but good memories.
And Dublin is a wonderful town. We had such a great time there, and you're right. I mean, every place we go, we've got a couple videos on the channel here from our travels in Georgia, but it is a really neat state.
I mean, they even would allow our dog Bo at the football games. They said that Bo could come to the games. I'm like, no, Bo's not coming.
And a couple of them, we were with our RV, and they said, yeah, spend the night, because I go to a campground, so we stayed right, we had permission to stay right there at the schools that we played at, and once everybody went home, they turned off the lights in the field. It was
could
quiet.
Run free for a little bit.
Yeah.
My favorite was the football game where they would shoot off a cannon.
That was in
and fireworks at
Colquitt, Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time.
I like that kind of spirit.
Yeah, they threw up fireworks at the end of the game, and if their kids scored a touchdown, they fire a cannon. I mean, a real cannon.
A real little cannon. The poor dog.
I love high school football. Not you? Yeah.
Yep.
Our grandson Matthew just finished his senior year. I'm doing a video on all of his senior years. In fact, there's the hard drive with all of the video on it that I've got to finish up in the next week. But that's 2 of them, Matthew and Nick, his brother, and coming up soon is Jacob. That's another 4 years. I'll probably need a wheelchair to go around and shoot that video for.
Jax is the one you'll need the wheelchair.
Yeah. That's. Jax, our son Jeff's.
He's 2.
Karen is in Wimberley, Texas, and who else is on here that we need to say? Henry Rosa from New York City. Hey, Henry, great to have you join us. Thank you very much. Hallandale, Florida is Alexi. Ray Jones in Orlando, Florida. Frank is in Dundee, Michigan. And happy holidays from Orlando. No need to RV with this weather. I don't know how it is down there now. It's been really nice. We just left Florida a few days ago, it seems. And
we haven't been home a week yet.
Yeah. So lots of snow, Colleen says, in upstate New York.
I bet it's pretty.
Did you get snow at your home? No, we never. Not a drop of snow. I haven't seen even a real snowflake in the last 4 or 5 days that we've been here. Temperatures have been above freezing. We didn't have to winterize on the way back up because
we were a little worried, and there was no reason to worry, so we were grateful.
Remember one year we came back about this time for the holidays, and it froze up?
Yeah, that was scary.
So we watched the weather, and the daytime highs were above freezing, and the nighttime highs were right around freezing, and that was fine. We didn't have to worry. So we're planning towards retirement. In hindsight, is there anything you would have done differently when you started RVing? Big thing I'll ask you first. What would you have done differently?
Would have started sooner.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah, I wish we would have started sooner.
Debbie, uh, our advice to everybody is don't wait. I mean, okay, so maybe you can't take off for long, extended trips right now, but get the RV. When I hear people say, oh, I'm going to get one in 3 years, 5 years, you sure? You know?
You don't know if you'll be here in 2 years.
You don't know.
You don't know what the future holds.
I keep going back to that
Tape measure.
the tape measure illustration, where you take a tape measure out and you ask yourself, how long do I think I'm going to live?
Your thumb where how old you are. How long do you think you're going to live? How long do you think you're going to be able to drive and move around and do things? So
I don't know
how
if
many
you
years
caught
you've
that,
got.
but how long do you think you're going to live? Say 85, or so you can be healthy till 85. That's what your hope is. Put your finger there, then put your finger on how old you are now, and say you're 60. Just for, that's the only distance between them. Now look back from the other end, from 0 to 60. Look how fast that time went. Do you really have time to wait for 2 or 3 years? And besides, people are always, I'm shopping, I'm getting my research done, I'm going to buy in 3 years. Your research is useless because in 3 years, everything will have changed so much.
Changes every few months.
My biggest regret, we've been RVing, since we were first married, but we went, after our kids got old, we sold everything, and so we went through until the kids were all gone and out of the house, and we started this life, which is about 8 months of the year we're on the road, 3/4 time. We started that 8 years ago in March. I wish we had started long before that, even if we only could do, a weekend here and there, because it has been just such a great thing, and I regret all the time that we lost, that we weren't able to. So you do not have to wait until you retire.
And unless you're really a pet person and have to have a pet, I would say that, the kids grow up and the dog dies.
Don't get a new dog.
That makes it so much harder. I mean, we love him. He's part, and when something happens to our Bo, we're going to be devastated because, his birthday is December 3rd. He's going to be 4 for all the people that have been listening with our Bo. But the national parks are not friendly towards them. Trying to make arrangements for doggy daycare and Rover, and it's hard. It's very hard. Yeah. And then you get a dog, you don't know whether that dog's going to ride well in the car, if it's going to get car sick, or, if you've got a pet, enjoy it, but maybe give yourself a year or two if you're going to RV. If something happens to that pet, give yourself a year or two to adjust. Yeah. Unless you're really a pet person and you've got to have that little fuzzy to sleep with.
Now, Bo, as most of you know, was a surprise birthday present to us 4 years in February. Our other dog had died about 6 months before, and we were now traveling without a dog. And frankly, it was so much easier. And we love Bo like crazy. We're delighted to have him. But it's very difficult to travel with the dog. Now, if you just sit in your RV or sit in the campsite, not a problem.
And you don't do anything.
If you don't do anything, and unfortunately, a lot of RVers, fortunate, they like doing that. That's great. That's what a lot of RVers do. They don't do anything. They sit there. Then it's fine with a dog. But if you like to hike,
ride a bike,
kayak, ride a bike, take off for a day, for up a mountain and down, you can't do that.
You can't leave him in the rig because he's going to bark. And is it too hot? Is it too cold? The needs of the dog.
Most national parks are not dog friendly. They're not allowed on trails. They are allowed in like the parking lot or the campground, but that's it. They must be on a leash at all times. There are a lot of issues with pets. Now, some people say, I won't go anywhere without my pets. Well, that's great. That's your choice, and as long as you're happy and you enjoy it. And, RVing is great fun that way. But we RV, not just RV, but to go do stuff. We want to do stuff. We want to be out there and exploring, and it's a lot harder. There are, like, we don't bring our rad power bikes on every trip because, we have nothing to do with Bo. There's no place for Bo to be.
And it's not fun to take turns for bike rides.
No, we want to be together.
I mean, we did that at Zion. We had to take turns exploring because somebody had to stay with our other dog.
Yeah, one of the neatest things there was in Zion is that canyon, you walk down the river and the canyon narrows. I mean, that was so much fun. And I did that, but I really missed you.
Yeah,
First of all,
did it by myself.
But for safety reasons, it would have been better to be together. And
two is better than one.
So I just want to be
And I
real
don't want to get
about
people mad at us who love their dogs,
right.
because we love Bo.
And,
But if the dog passes, try it a year, you know.
yeah, and I mean, our kids gave us this dog. We didn't ask for him; it came.
And we love him dearly.
Yeah. A couple of questions here. Where do we get water and dump when you're boondocking from Connecticut to Florida and back? Well, there's lots of places. Usually, if you go into a national park or you go into a U.S. Forest Service campground, there'll be water there that you can hook up to. Sometimes Pilot gas stations or Love gas stations have water that you can tack up to, and for $5 they'll let you dump your tanks. We tend, because we do laundry about every 5 days, 6 days, once a week sometimes. So once a week or so, we will stop usually at a KOA. We choose KOA because they're expensive, but they're always usually generally a high standard of cleanliness, and we know what to expect. So we use their laundry facilities, and we fill up the tanks, and then we boondock after that. We find that we can get almost a week on our black tanks, and if we're careful on our freshwater tanks, almost a week as well. So, and that's showering in our unit as well. We shower in our unit. It doesn't take up that much. We get, I don't know, about 8-10 showers out of a tank of water.
Yeah, we were quite smug when we were coming home, and we stayed at the Perry Welcome Center.
Yeah.
And it was great. They had a fenced-in area. So we let Bo in the fenced-in area.
A dog park they have right there.
Park.
Perry, Georgia, we're talking
Perry,
about.
Georgia.
On I-75.
And we showered in our rig.
Yeah.
And they even had a dumpster there, so the little bit of trash we had.
And and they had a dump station too.
Yes.
So
it was great.
So there's lots of places like that. You just need to be aware of them and look them up. And you can usually welcome stations. Many freeway on the interstates have now dump stations. And also fresh water that you can top up on. We use the Allstays app a lot. Allstays, Allstays. You can check that out. It's really, I think, really only works well with the iPhone now. Or no, I think maybe it's the other way around. But it's a great app, and that's the one we tend to use. Check it out anyway, see how it works. It'll work with your computer as well. And that's what we like to do. We like in the computer because we can get big maps and stuff. And you can search for dump stations and water and whatever you want. So hope that answers some of your questions. How does a person full-time RVing that doesn't have a permanent residence, how does that person vote in elections, file income taxes, participate in a census? You have to be a full-time resident of somewhere for your license plates from somewhere. So I always say, look around, and most RVers pick the states of Texas, Florida, Montana, I think South Dakota, North Dakota. I don't know.
Maybe North Dakota.
I'm not sure whether it's Dakotas, but Florida is a big one because it has no income tax, and you can vote in the elections. If you go to the Escapees RV Club, and you just go to maybe Chris or Phyllis will put a URL up in the comments there, but it's rvlifestyle.com/escapees. We've got a link to it. You can go there. We're an affiliate of theirs, a great club. They even have a service that they can help guide you through in becoming a permanent resident of Florida. But that's how most of them do it. You got to be a resident of somewhere for your insurance and mail and income taxes. So the best way to do that is pick one of those states that don't have an income tax, and you'll find it pretty good. How do you keep rad bikes safe from theft? From a thief? Well, at the campsite, I cover them up, by the way. We have a big, actually we bought a cheap, like $9 motorcycle cover up, and it goes over both of ours, and then I chain them together, and usually chain them around a picnic table or something.
And you don't leave the battery in it.
I don't leave the battery in it, yep. And on the back of the unit, when it's on the rack, I chain them to that so they can't get that off easy.
And talk about the lock for your power.
Oh, that's for the surge protector. People ask me about that. I have a surge protector that we use when we stay in a commercial campground with power. And I do have that's about a $350 option. So I do have a lock that I can protect that with too. Ronald Prater in Mason, Ohio. Looking forward to the UP campout in January. Good for you, Ron. We'll be there. I think it's the second weekend in January up at Tequamanon Falls State Park in Michigan's snow-covered Upper Peninsula. We have a lot of snow usually on the ground. How much?
Usually 2.5 feet, 2.5 to 3.5 feet.
Now,
One year we were there for the thaw, and it was kind of got mushy at the end.
Now, somebody a minute ago asked me about my favorite man toy. What's your favorite female toy? And I'm thinking about what you just got that you've been testing out.
Oh, my battery-operated gloves. I've been talking about it for years.
And your feet, your
and
socks.
My battery-operated socks. And I went to the dog park, and I had the socks on high. My feet were on fire.
This was yesterday. We're walking the dog park. She said, "My feet are on fire." And everybody kind of looked at her like, "What?" So she puts her foot up and pulls her
socks
pants
go up
up
to my knees.
Pulls, has to turn it off. And then she's walking around with these gloves, and they got little red glow things.
I mean, those would be better if they were red and green, but they're both red. But my mittens, the one pair, then I bought Mike a pair of battery-operated gloves because I thought, well, I have warm hands. And they don't work, so now I got to deal with the foolishness of trying to return them.
That's the downside. There's so many people online now, and when you get shoddy equipment, it's really a pain to send it back. Amazon's pretty good about it, but you bought some boots. Somebody seduced you with the boot ad, and it was terrible.
And they were too cheap, and I got what I paid for.
And so that's the downside. That's why it's nice to kind of do business in a real store where you can try it on.
I think real stores are going to come back.
Yeah, I do too. Hey, speaking of online stuff, I mentioned this last week on our social media, but it's come to my attention through Facebook Messenger. Some people have been getting this notice where they're spoofing us. They're saying, "Hey, you just won an RV or something from our contest," and they're using our name. And don't believe it. It's a scam. We don't have an RV to auction off. We don't do that. Hopefully you'd be smart enough to know that, but I'm waiting for somebody to send me a copy of it so I can forward it on to Facebook. Not that I expect Facebook to do anything about it, but nevertheless, be aware we don't have a giveaway of an RV. It'd be nice if we did, but we don't. So that's good. Let's go. Somebody was talking about weather, and people are passing along in the comments about weather, snow and rain, freezing rain.
Freezing rain. We don't want that.
Hi from Danny in Huntsville. He watches all of our stuff, videos, podcasts, ebooks. Thank you very much, and thank you very much. Is your slide out insulated? No, not. It's just a slide out. It's a box that goes out, and it's our bed. And I noticed when we were camping and it was freezing, when I usually the first one in, those sheets are pretty cold.
Oh, the good old days when we used to have an electric mattress pad that would crawl into a warm bed.
Yeah.
Those are the good old days.
We could probably do that. Well, you'd have to be plugged in because that would take a lot of power. But so Jennifer sleeps with socks on.
Yeah.
And I've learned to, I won't say how I usually sleep, but now I sleep, when it's cold, I'll sleep with those flannel pajama type bottoms that everybody wears, and I get that cold foot on those. Oh,
I have Raynaud's in my fingers and toes.
Explain what Raynaud's
is. 10% of all people have it. When I get cold, blood doesn't flow to my fingers, and they turn white, and they're just like icicles. I have very cold hands and feet. That's why the battery-operated socks and gloves.
So, Gary, our slide-out is not insulated, and it warms up really quick. That's where our Murphy bed is, and it warms up really quick. 2 minutes, and you're comfy. And we tend to sleep, and we like sleeping upper 50s inside the RV, maybe 60. So we slept real good out there. Sally says, we have an Airstream, but I don't like the whole towing thing. How can I persuade my husband to get a B+? Well, Sally, I don't know where you are, but get to a dealer and have them drive one. And even better yet, rent one for a weekend and go try it out. See the difference it makes. No worry. You're backing into a campsite and all the other campers are standing around there with a beer watching you back up and look out for that tree. And we've been there. But you don't have to do any of that stuff in a B+ or a B van. And I think the best way to to before you buy anything like that is to rent one, and there's all sorts
Even
of
if it
services.
is pricey and they're hard to find. American RV, if they go there though, where else could they rent them? Maybe.
Well, RV Share is a company that just tap in your zip code. There'll be one near you. Outdoorsy is the best place to probably rent all over the country. Outdoorsy, RV Share. We just learned of a new company this week called RV and Go. RV, the letter N, Go. Check that out. There's lots of places. We have an RV renting school where we're teaching RV owners how to rent out their vehicles because you can make it basically pay for itself. But rent one from somebody and try it. And then your husband will see exactly what you're thinking about. And then if you can visit an RV show, the next big one, and when I say big one, I mean, national in scope, is the Tampa RV show, the Tampa Super Show, RV Super Show in Tampa. And that's the third week of January in 2020. We'll be there. We'll tell you a lot more about it as we get closer to the date. But that's a great show. Plus, how can you go wrong being in Florida in January? So try renting one, visit a show, and I think you'll see he really, really likes it. All right, question. But that really helps when you put a Q on it, like Phyllis suggested. When will you be going back to Embassy RV, waiting to see their transit bill? Well, we went to Embassy RV, and I've shot a video that's 3/4 done in October. And we were supposed to stop there on our way back from Florida last week. Mm-hmm. But I got a note from the owner, and he said, hey, we just moved into a new building. And the reason we didn't finish it the first time is I didn't have any completed builds. And we wanted not just to show you how they build it, but we wanted to show you when it's all done. They make a really interesting RV, and they've got lots of little innovations they do. But the bottom line is they weren't done with it, and they didn't have any done, and now I'm not sure when we can get there. Maybe, he said maybe December, but I don't know whether we can get there now. So
have to see. Hopefully we can work it out.
He'll probably be at Tampa. He was last year, and if he's there, we'll finish it up then. I know he'd like us to see his new factory, but
we'll have to call it.
Yeah, but Embassy RV, interesting. It's a small company in Elkhart. They actually make a lot of other things. They make these awesome equipped vans for. I think they mobile labs they do for like doing surgical instrument sharpening and fixing things for medical stuff. And he started making RVs a few years ago, and he's got some really interesting ideas. So I've got a video 3/4 shot. It's just that he wasn't ready, and then they moved to a new RV-only factory, and we'll hopefully get to Elkhart and see it sometime maybe before Tampa. I hope so. Thanks for asking. Let's see. I went right back to the start. Chris asked a question. Finding value in this information, chat, give it a thumbs up. Yeah, would you do that? It would really help for you to give us a thumbs up. It's just, you click that little thumbs up button, and it helps us as we get noticed by Google, and, trying to get our RV lifestyle. If you think this is helpful. Also, even now, if you've got some friends, use your social media and share this. Share this link for this video. Just share it on social media. If you'd even do that now, even though we got about 20 minutes left in the show, it would really help us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Now, we do a couple of videos a week, and when you subscribe, there's also a little bell icon. You want to click that bell icon because then you'll get notified by a little email message, hey, we just posted a new video. In that way, because we're always having people say, I didn't know you were going to be on live. We got to be you got to click, not be just a subscriber, you got to click the bell icon. But please share this, give us a thumbs up and share it, if you will. And share it with Twitter, Facebook, social media. Let everybody know, come watch this show. That would be a big help to us as we try and get all this stuff that we're doing out into the hands of other people. Here's just a quick thing. Kevin says it's cold, windy, icy, snowy in Lincoln, Nebraska. I don't know. It is. I bet it is. And I've seen it in Massachusetts, and people are telling us all over. So that's pretty good. Phyllis points out that thumbs up icon is underneath the video. And if you're watching on mobile, on a phone, you have to close the chat window, and then you'll see it, and then you can come right back to chat. So that's pretty good. And let's see. Your dog has something important to add. Yep, he's commenting to you. That's right. Back when he was barking a couple of minutes. Oh, I got to move fast through all this stuff. Uh, let's see here. Is it better to buy an RV in a warm climate or a cold climate? I don't know. I would think whatever climate you are in is the climate that would be the first preference I'd do. Then that if you're buying it now, that if somebody's selling it, a reputable person or a dealer, they've winterized it, so you don't have to worry about anything freezing. If it's down in warm climate, I don't think it probably makes any difference, really. Do you?
I don't think it makes any difference.
I go for the best deal, the best service that you can get.
Reputable people.
Reputable people. We kind of always recommend when you're buying an RV, if you're buying it from a dealer, that it should be family owned or locally owned, not part of a big chain. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we've generally found that if it's a family name on that or it's a local thing, it's their name. They take a lot more pride rather than a big corporation. So, and check out reviews, check out what you get from service. But the more I think about it, I don't think it makes any difference where you buy it. If you live in a cold climate and you buy it in a warm, you just want to make sure it's winterized when you take it back to the cold. My wife and I are considering our first trailer, thinking of Airstream Bambi, just to check the water first. This is our first time RVing. Bambi's a great little unit. Airstream you love their trailers.
Yeah. I've always, ever since I was a little girl, I guess Airstream was the first thing that I saw that was a trailer, and I just wanted one.
And every show we go to,
I go look at the Airstreams.
Yeah, they really are beautiful. And it's just quality. They're expensive, but, we have learned that, the quality counts. And there's a lot of junk out there. And Airstream makes a really nice trailer. You'll love the Bambi. It's small. You might look at the next model up from that. I think it's called the Base Camp, which is just a little bigger. That is a really slick little unit too. So check out the Base Camp as well. My husband wants to know if you change tires to snow tires when you winter camp. No, we do not. We've never.
We live in Michigan. If we lived on a
mountain, maybe. Because you have to have them. It's change and stuff in many places in the mountains. But in Michigan, we drive through the snow. These units are heavy, and they're rear-wheel drive. But I had last year up at the winter camp out in a blizzard. I had a four-wheel drive unit, and I tested it out with four-wheel drive and without, and it was just a marginal difference because they're so heavy. They handle really well in the snow.
I think that was 2 years ago. Last year we had that new one that we only had for 2 months.
Yes, it was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. It was 2 years ago. Question, we watched your winterizing video. By the way, did y'all notice our new videos are now released on Saturdays on the RV Lifestyle channel here. Thank you. We want to winterize ourselves. Is it necessary to use both compressed air and the pink stuff? Why both when it's usually either or? No, it's always both. Well, you can do it with just the pink stuff. I asked the guy a couple times. Dealers will do compressed air. I don't have a compressor at home. If I did, you wouldn't let me use it because I'm not very handy. But the whole purpose of the compressed air is after you've drained the freshwater tanks and you've pulled the spigots on all of your inside tanks and your showers and you've gotten all the water off, there's still residual water in there lying in the pipes and in the traps. And so the compressed air, if you look in that video that we just put up, gets all of that out. It gets it all out. And that's really nice to have. So I would use that. But you have to put in the pink stuff. The pink stuff is, even though you think you got all the water off, it's not all out. So the pink stuff goes through the plumbing system and it keeps anything from freezing. It's damp in there. You don't want to, even if you blow it out with fresh air, it's going to be damp. It can freeze. Just use the pink stuff. Now, it only takes a gallon or 2, 3. I think we did 3 in our whole unit. And because I have a macerator, if you look at that video, we poured at the very end, after we did everything, we poured a gallon in the black tanks and then ran that out through the macerator so everything in the macerator has antifreeze. And then in the wintertime, it's just, or in the spring, when it's time to de-winterize, you just basically run fresh water through until it runs clear and you're done. It's not that expensive. My bill was, I think, $135, and they did it right, So I would recommend the way you see in that video. Other people do it other ways. I'm not, if it works for you, do it. But it's my channel, and that's the way I would recommend it, the way we just showed it, at least for our unit. And every unit's a little different, but pretty much the same procedure. You're much pleased. I mean, I've done it myself. I do it sometimes if it's really cold in Florida and we're coming up here. I'll run some antifreeze through. But having them do all of it with the compressed air, I just know it's done right, right? Mm-hmm. So that's our thing. So thanks, Eileen, for asking that. Can you talk more about the Tampa RV main pros of buying at the show and getting good deals on trade-ins? Well, sure, and it's true of any RV. Why is it a good deal to buy at a show?
Because they don't want to drive it back to the dealer.
Do you know how much work it is for these dealers? They might have 10, 15 RVs. They got to hire extra staff to drive them. They got to wait around to get a marshal at the show to direct them where to go. They got to park them end to end. I mean, it's a hassle. And so they're there to sell them. And they have a great price on them. Usually the best price you'll find anywhere is at a show. So, yeah, it is better to buy them. Now, if you're going to go and order one from a dealer to have built at the factory, it's going to take you a year, upwards of a year, to get that thing delivered to you the way if you're buying it, ordering it custom. So I would always say, in terms of a trade-in, most dealers obviously want to trade it in. They'll be able to give you a pretty good idea just by you describing it, but there's room to park it at the Tampa show, many of these big shows, and then your sales guy or whoever has to do it can go out and look at them. And at the show, many of them are available. They bring a number of them that you can test drive as well. Depends on how big the dealer is. Sometimes a little dealer who they spend all their time on the show floor, they don't have time to take you around. But generally, it's a good deal to buy at a show. You'll get the best prices on existing inventory. Are you now using the WeBoost 4G? And if so, how's it working? I am using it. We've just used it for 6 weeks on this trip we just came. There are times when I don't think it makes any difference at all. And that's usually when I have a pretty good signal on my cell phone. I look and I see if I've got 3 bars. I really don't use it. I just leave it plugged in all the time and on. And a couple of times during this trip, I would look and I'd have a marginal signal on the cell and I'd turn it on, and that was enough to give me the connectivity. So I've got a review I want to do on that thing. It's if you can see over here on my whiteboard on the wall, I've got all our videos scheduled, and it's there. We're looking at our schedule for videos and podcasts, and Christmas is coming. We always take the last 2 weeks of the week of the year.
1 year we did.
Well,
we're going to make it 2.
Now it's going to be always.
Oh.
But Christmas is on Wednesday this year. New Year's is on Wednesday this year. That's the day we normally use the podcast, so we're not going to do the podcast that week. And we usually do our videos on Saturday. I've looked at all of the figures. Fewer people watch the Saturday after Christmas, the Saturday after New Year's than any other time of the year. So we're going to give ourselves a vacation and just take it real easy. No newsletter, podcast, or any videos for the last 2 weeks of the year, and we'll be back right at the first of the year, the first full week in January for the podcast. It'll be I think it'll be the 8th is then. So anyway, that's coming down there. Related question to Togo: how is the Togo system working out for you, and would it be a worthwhile investment? Togo, and you can find a video here on the YouTube channel. I have the Togo system, which is on AT&T. And the reason I like Togo is you can buy a full year's unlimited plan for $360. And that's a good deal. Right next to it, I have, because it came standard on our RV when we bought our RV, is the Winegard Connect 2 system. And I took my data card from Verizon and put it in there, and that works on Verizon. So I have Verizon and I have AT&T. And it does a great job on the internet, but sometimes the 4G will amplify both of those. The one we just talked about, the WeBoost. AT&T is not as robust a network I have found as Verizon, but sometimes Verizon is marginal, and then I find AT&T is really good. More often it's the other way around, but I'm glad I have it, and I use it, use them all. It's important to, for me, I have to have reliable access to the internet online all the time, or I can't travel. And because we produce so much content during the week, we need to be able to get on the internet. And we like the extra room we have, right? Mm-hmm. We set up a little table in the RV and we're able to work out that. How's planning for your Quabbin Falls campout coming along? And we agree, South Dakota has so much to do. We love it out here. We don't plan anything about Quabbin Falls. We just show up and play in the snow. We do have a dinner. Tell them about the dinners.
Well, we book a couple of restaurants.
Local restaurants?
Yes, one by the falls normally, and then one in the city of their little village, I guess, of Paradise.
Paradise? We want to eat in Paradise. Dinner in Paradise.
And they have a good chef there. He has a very good restaurant, and that's normally where we go.
So we all have these group dinners. Everybody pays their own. We chip in for firewood because we have a raging fire at one of the campsites that goes every night and in the afternoon. We usually even have a potluck on a picnic table. We clear off the snow. The snow's that deep on the top of the picnic table.
And you have trouble with the dogs, particularly ours.
Oh, yeah, he loves the snow and he loves the potlucks. Yeah. People are always dropping stuff. And that's it. Oh, and then we snowshoe. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources at Quabbin Falls State Parks, they provide snowshoes for us all to use.
But if you have your own, please bring them.
Because we've got a lot of people coming to this one.
And yours are probably, better.
Yeah, we bought a pair. I bring mine, and then you'll probably use a rental pair. And it's great. It's not a lot of planning. We just hang out, play. Some people drive off over to look at the frozen shore of Lake Superior. We like to walk and hike to the falls and look at the falls in the winter. We have great potlucks and social time around the fire, and it's just like summer, except you wear more clothes. Mm-hmm. There is electric hookups. This DNR plows out every site for you, and there are electrical hookups. There's no running water because it's winter, so bring your own water. Bring bottled water to drink. There are outhouses. Hey, there are. So, it's just a great time. This will be year 7 for us on our winter camp out. And then we come back on Sunday from that, and we leave Monday for Tampa.
And that's why we're flying.
Yeah. Bruce, good evening from Arkansas. Love your channel and your Facebook group. Thank you, Bruce. Hey, does everybody know about our Facebook group? Just go right there, and you can join our group. We have a wonderful community on Facebook where if you have an RV question, you need some help, post it. Somebody will answer that right away. It's moderated, so you don't get all the crazies. We get spam out of there right away if somebody tries to spam it. And we ask you to fill out some questions and stuff so we know that you're a real RVer, not somebody who just wants to get a hold of our group. But it's a great group, and we invite everybody to sign up and be a part of that. And as far as our channel, again, we want to remind everybody to subscribe to our RV Lifestyle channel. You're on it now, so if you haven't done so, please do. How far south this time of year do you have to go before you de-winterize? We watch the weather. We usually de-winterize ours if we can in Gainesville, Florida at Sunshine State RVs. Our friend Nick and Craig there from Sunshine State RVs. But if we're not going there, if we're just going like where we love to go in the Panhandle and the Emerald Coast, we usually can de-winterize ourselves. I just have to go to a park. That's what I did last year. I went to an RV park.
Rented a spot?
In Navarre Beach. Rented a spot. I did it just for a day and de-winterized right there. It's just a matter of, flushing out the pink stuff and putting in clean water. That's all there was to it. And we were de-winterized. So it's real easy, much easier to do that than it is to winterize it. So, but I usually make sure that the temperatures are going to be good because sometimes even down in Alabama, Georgia can get really cold.
Yeah, you can't say there's a magic line as to where you winterize and where you don't have to winterize because the weather's so variable.
Yeah, but normally southern Alabama, southern Georgia, Florida, I'm good to go, and it works out. It works out great. Um, hey, Jeff is in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Hey, Jeff, live long and prosper. Yes, we've been to Chiang Mai, and we've been to Chiang Rai as well. How about that? That's Thailand. It's such a beautiful, beautiful country.
Friendly people.
So he's got DX, which is ham radio talk for distance, for reaching around the world. And this is my ham radio operation right here. This thing. Well, that's my amplifier, and you can't see the rest of it. But yeah, Chiang Mai, Thailand. It's a beautiful area. Thank you for tuning in there. I believe it's morning there about now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So that's great. The Money Club, are you in a house now? Yes, we are in our house up there. That's Oakland, Michigan. This is our home, our studio in the house for our YouTube and our podcast and my ham radio station. And we're here until we go up north to Tequamanon Falls the second week of January. So we're home for the holidays. In fact, upstairs we are decorating the Christmas tree. We put the tree up. We got the lights on. We got to now start. Are we going to do any more tonight?
No.
Good. There's a lot of work. There's that winterizing video that we've been talking about that Chris has mentioned to us. All right, let me go through really quick here because we are almost out of time, and we want to go quickly here. Let's see. Do you ever have a problem losing your campsite when leaving the campground for a day of exploring in your RV or it's our Leisha travel van? Never. I have a little sign that says, "Is this campsite occupied?"
You can put a little rope up. You can just have a simple milk jug, right? Occupied. Put it up, tie it between two trees.
In a campground, you don't have to worry because you paid for a spot and somebody will help you if that's a problem. In a boondocking spot,
yeah,
anybody who would intentionally steal your spot in a boondocking spot, I don't want to camp in the same campground that they're at, so I'm out of there. But that has never happened to us. And
but I can see.
You know,
it could,
sure.
Boondocking.
Yeah, it could. Have you ever encountered solo RVers who use wheelchairs? If so, what kind of an RV do they use? Not a solo traveler. Most RVs are tough for a wheelchair because they're narrow inside. There's not a lot of room to maneuver around in a wheelchair. I know there are some, but you have to have a driver with you and somebody else to kind of help with that. So it's pretty tough. I'm so new, I threw a solar system together. Question, when your battery is charged all the way and no discharge is applied, should the battery level drop significantly from 13.6 to 12.3? Thank you. If you're not using your battery, no. I mean, over time it will because there's these parasitic draws. If you're running an inverter, it will drop that, and that's not unusual overnight or by the next day from 13.6 to 12.3. But then the next day when the sun comes out, that solar should charge those right back up. So, but the biggest drain we have found in all of our boondocking is the inverter. Turn it off, particularly when you're sleeping, unless you're running a CPAP machine or something. If you're running a CPAP machine, they don't take a lot of stuff. I have one. But I'm actually looking for one of the ones that are battery operated. When I can replace mine, I might get one that has a battery backup. Because that's a draw. We always run a small little fan at night. And that takes a draw, an AC operated fan. And when we winter camp, we if it's real cold, we'll run a ceramic heater, a little 1,500 watt heater with everything else we have. But generally, we don't need stuff for our inverters. And that's a big draw if you have an inverter on. So check that out. Hey, Mitch has got an idea for those cold sheets I was talking about.
Yeah.
Fleece sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if we could get that. Yeah. Do you meet up or pass across with other YouTubers? Couple of times, yeah. We just met up with Traveling Robert, who's a friend of ours. We met up, and at like the big RV shows, like at Hershey, at Tampa, at the California RV show, we have a whole bunch of friends. The Russos are friends of ours. RV Love, Mark and Julie are friends of ours. Traveling Robert, the Driving and Vibin couple are friends of ours. Ryan and Olivia, and let's see, Yeah, James and Stephanie, the Fit RV. Those of us who kind of all do this, we all get to know each other. Mark and Trish from Keep Your Daydream. In fact, I'll have them on the show in a couple of weeks about traveling with teenagers from them. And then in 2 weeks, I'll have on Heath and Alyssa from RV Entrepreneurs. They're also friends of ours. So yeah, we all get to kind of know each other, and we all do things a little bit differently, but they become really good friends, and we always love to see these things. All right, question. I'm seeing how this cue at the very beginning that he's got there, that kind of gets our attention. Our Murphy bed is like a diving board when sitting on the foot of it. Any suggestions? Well, if you're hanging, you must not have any support over it. So I don't know.
Ours is firm.
Ours is pretty firm, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, you need.
I don't know.
Sounds like your mattress is too long. I don't know what else to say. We don't tend to sit on ours.
I do, and I wondered how much give there would be, and it was fine.
Yeah, it kind of, the mattress folds up and comes down. There's a board that holds it on.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's see. Questions. Do you use bleach when you de-winterize? Sometimes I'll put a little bit of bleach in the freshwater tank. Now, my freshwater tank has nothing in it. No water. And you certainly don't want to put antifreeze in there. Well, you can, but I mean, then you got to go through a lot of hassle to get that out. But I always put a little bleach just to, once or twice in the summer, just a tiny bit, a tablespoon in a gallon, just to kind of sanitize it.
Yeah, just periodically during the summer. It depends on where you live, how hot it is, because those tanks that hold the water get nasty.
Yeah. What do you think about a CB radio? What kind of places install them? I've been talking about this for months. I want one in ours for traffic alerts and stuff, but I've not had any luck in finding a reputable place that will install one.
We were told about one in Indiana when we start driving home.
Yeah, I don't even remember where that was now.
To Alabama.
But we tried one a couple of weeks ago.
And that wasn't a good place.
Oh my gosh, I think that was.
They want to hear more questions than about our story.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I do want one, but I want to have it installed right. Let's see. I'm looking real quick for questions because we're right out of time. Is there any chance we could see you in Quartzsite, Alabama, Arizona? We talk about Quartzsite every year, but the time to get there is really the end of January. And the third week of January every year, we're at Tampa, Florida, and that is a long drive out there. So I don't know. I don't know when we're ever going to get out there. It'd be fun. I've wanted to see Quartzsite. I really have, but I don't see it's getting there this year for sure. Bill says we're the only reason he'd even think of rejoining Facebook. Well, thank you, Bill. You'd like our group. It's a good community. All right, I am pretty much down to there, and it's time to go. We've had a great time with you guys. You've had some wonderful questions. I can't believe how fast an hour goes. Again, if you've liked our channel, please share it. Make a link to the channel, and I just ask you to help us with that. Send it out to people. Tell them to subscribe that you think we could help, and we certainly will appreciate that. Coming up, the newsletter tomorrow, and we got lots of information in the newsletter. Look for that in your mailbox. It comes out about 6 a.m., so it should be there when you get up in the morning. On Wednesday in the podcast, we have a really great interview. If you have a warranty, an extended warranty on your RV, you need to listen to it because there's a couple things you have to do before the end of the year, or you could risk, depending on your RV and how old it is, you could risk coverage on it. And everything's going up in price, so there's some ways to save money. So you want to listen to that. We talk with the folks from Wholesale Warranties on Wednesday. Then we're starting the following couple of weeks on the podcast. We're going to meet some of those people I just talked about, some of those other RV couples out there, and solo travelers as well, and what it's like in the lifestyle of traveling alone, traveling with kids, traveling with an infant. Should be a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for being with us. We love being with you guys, and we just look forward to seeing you down the road.
And happy trails.